On the white cliffs of Dover, looking out across the English Channel, which separates Britain from France. 600 people crossed this narrow stretch of water by boat on Wednesday. Not a huge figure in the scheme of things, but under pressure, Boris Johnson is determined to be seen to be doing something to stop the dangerous journeys.
It's a busy shipping lane. It is a busy shipping lane, yeah.
And so, more than 6,000 kilometres away in Kigali, his Home Secretary announced an ambitious deal with the Rwandan government. In theory, anyone who enters the UK via a so-called illegal route may be sent to Rwanda to have their claim for asylum processed.
Those who are resettled will be given the support, including up to 5 years of training with the help of integration, accommodation, healthcare, so that they can resettle and thrive.
The Rwandan government's getting an initial payment of roughly $156 million. It says it'll offer people protection and a chance to rebuild their life, even if their asylum claim is unsuccessful.
Many Rwandans have experienced what it means to be displaced. This has shaped how we approach migration and asylum. Rwanda already provides a refuge for almost 130,000 refugees from multiple countries, including neighbors like the DRC and Burundi, as well as Afghanistan and migrants evacuated from Libya.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Despite the UK's warm words about Rwanda's offer, Boris Johnson says the scheme should act as a deterrent to people thinking of crossing the Channel. Whatever the case, he's accepted there will be legal challenges. In many eyes, it's a clear breach of the 1951 United Nations Refugee Convention. Beyond that, opposition politicians and some Conservatives from Johnson's own party have called the whole idea immoral, unworkable and a huge waste of money.
This government needs to create more safe routes. It needs to be looking at creating a humanitarian visa system, for example, where people can claim asylum in a country such as France, in an embassy there, so that they don't have to put their money and their lives in the hands of people smugglers. There are many other options to this issue than people having to use people smugglers, or when they arrive here, being flown over to somewhere 6,000 miles away.
It's far from clear how much this scheme will cost. Beyond practicalities, many have expressed amazement at the choice of Rwanda. Last year, Britain itself called for independent investigations into allegations of extrajudicial killings, deaths in custody, enforced disappearances and torture in the country. And rights groups have drawn parallels with Australia's experience of offshoring asylum seekers, saying sending them to Rwanda will simply increase the risk to their physical and mental health. Nadim, Al Jazeera.
Well, Vicky Hawkins is UK Executive Director of Doctors Without Borders. She's concerned how refugees and migrants will cope with being sent to Rwanda.
Our real concern is about the physical and mental harm that offshoring refugees and migrants in this way causes to people that make the crossing on the Channel. They're already vulnerable and traumatized people. They need protection. And our work in similar situations where where refugees and migrants have been offshored, such as on Narrow, when the Australian government implemented the same policy. I mean, it was very evident to us that was some of the worst mental health suffering we've seen in all of our programs around the world. So the impact on already traumatized people is just enormous.